Tin Kyungishan Dojian.
All right, guys. Well, here we go in what could be the last game for GoSu if they don't win this one. But first, let's take a look at our red Zerg player up in the top left part of Taldir and Malter. It is ZeNEX.Life. And on the bottom right, from the team, ItsGosu. Everything is riding on this guy. If he wins this game, they live to fight another game. If he loses this game, it is over. It is GoSu.ViBe. We have got ZVZ cross positions on Taldir and Malter. Could be interesting.
Yeah, certainly, because just the walk distance, the sheer distance you have to walk on this map does make it, while certainly the Baneling, Zergling / Roach tug-of-war battles still happen, the staggering walk distance you have there does make it a little bit harder to reinforce, tempers aggression a little bit for players.
Yep. You know, I wanted to point out something kind of interesting. We've been talking about the 15cc, 16cc. Well, we saw ZeNEX.Life do the Overlord trick, and we saw GoSu.ViBe go for a 9 Overlord. It's another one of those things where people say the 9 Overlord is slightly better economically, but a lot of, nearly every single Korean player does the extractor trick, basically, just because it's, I don't know, it just feels good. I prefer it myself, too. You can start your next 3 drones all at the same time. It just kind of flows a bit better, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Gives you something to do, you know?
Yeah, it looks like if we take a look at mining rates, our two players are basically identical at the moment. Actually, ZeNEX.Life maybe just slightly ahead, but that, of course, could chalk itself more up to scout timing than anything else.
But
But
oh, both players going hatch first. Interesting. Okay.
yep, neither player throwing out a drone scout either.
I like it. I like it. Could get pretty interesting. Hatch first was kind of like the standard in Korea for a while, for like maybe 4 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And then players started going one base again, and then it was like, oh, well, if I go hatch first and you go one base, I have trouble sometimes. So then, since then, it's been really, really varied, but it's kind of rare to see both players going hatch first. It'll be cool to see what happens. Looks like ViBe, though, going for a little bit earlier pool.
Yeah, he's going for the earlier pool. It looks like Life is going for very, very fast speed links. He's going to have 100 gas just as the spawning pool finishes up. And so that's our only difference between the two builds right now. A little bit quicker speed links for Life, little bit better economy for ViBe.
Yeah. Well, when both players scout each other, too, they might decide to just go ahead and skip the Baneling nest that you would normally get in this situation and just go straight to Roaches, possibly.
Sure.
Kind of depends on the player. I mean, when you see a player like Nesty go hatch first, for quite a while, and I still think he nearly always does in ZVZ, is just goes for Roaches right away. The standard, if your opponent goes, one base and you're going hatch first, you usually always want to get that Baneling nest early on. But where they both went hatch first, you can kind of skip it. So I'll have to see if either player decides to go Zergling Baneling. I've got a feeling that Life might be thinking of doing that because, he was planning on possibly getting Zergling speed. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling that ViBe might go for the Roach Horn instead and skip that.
Well, it looks like Life has pulled completely off of gas so far. ViBe putting down a Spine Crawler inside of his main. Yeah, he's going to walk that over to his natural here in just a bit.
That's right.
But he starts his Zergling speed actually because, believe it or not, Life actually delayed for about 5 or 10 seconds or so, and ViBe's able to make up a lot of that speed link time there.
Yeah, ViBe getting a little bit of gas right now. Just has one guy on gas. Oh, and he is going for the Baneling nest. All right.
Okay, there
Thanks
you go.
for making me look bad.
And looks like he's starting to slowly put guys back on gas, though, so we'll have a couple of Banelings ready whenever the time comes. But here come the first 6 Zerglings out of Life.
Yep, this won't really do anything, of course, with the Spine Crawler there. Looks like ViBe just bypassing anyway. He's like, oh, hanging out. What is ViBe doing?
He ran by with, it wouldn't have done much if he had kept his Zerglings there, but now, all of a sudden, a drone goes down, a queen goes down, and that's about it for now.
Yeah, that is pretty huge, actually. I actually misread the silhouette. I thought the Spine Crawler was already there. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why ViBe just ran the Zerglings past Must, just missed it.
Yeah, neither do I, as a matter of fact. That's a big loss right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look back on ZeNEX.Life side of things, and he indeed is putting down the Baneling nest as well. How far into his opponent's base did he get? Okay, he got far enough that he did see the Baneling nest.
Yep. Well, to kill off that queen, that is just so important early on. I mean, just reducing the amount of larvae you can have. I mean, that obviously reduces the amount of either units or drones, both of which is really, really bad in ZVZ. You want to be able to keep up with your opponent to the individual supply,
And right now, Life finally droning up behind this, but he pumped out about 20 lings in total. ViBe is actually going for that roach warning. He only produced 2 banelings so far. Banelings need a great burst here.
Yep. Life is going to need to be careful. He's not to lose too many of them. He's losing a couple here and there. Nice job focusing down those drones as well. Oh, that was a nice hit for ViBe, though, taking out a lot of those lings. Look at that. Still more lings. Is he going to get one more drone? No, it barely escapes with 1 hit points, but in the main, still more harassment going on.
Oh, nice surround there from ViBe, though. So pretty good control to get that hurt one out of there. But yeah, he is at a pretty big disadvantage right now.
Yeah, it's giving ViBe a lot to kind of think about and worry about as well as he tries to kind of stay in this game here.
And it looks like he's going to make his way out now. He does have a slightly better army than his opponent, but of course he's down by 17 workers. Yeah. Yes, his Roach Warren is already in place, but he's not really able to use that right now. He's actually going up to layer tech. Both players actually doing that at the same time, but of course, Life on a much, much, much better economy.
So ViBe getting in there to get a scout, and he might be able to get a queen kill too if he's lucky. At least get a couple drones here.
Yeah, certainly.
Good surround, but no, looks like Life doing a good job of microing all this until the Zerglings show up. He doesn't really lose much of anything. I think maybe 1 drone or something. Drone or two.
Yeah, he lost only 1 drone. The other one that he lost was from before, at the very beginning part of the game. So let's see here now as we have another 11 workers coming up for ViBe, but of course that economic advantage is already well in place for Life, and he's going to be able to utilize his brand new fancy production structures a lot quicker, as we already see +1 and a roach coming out for him.
Yeah, a lot of these cross-position Teldrum Ultra things turn into +1 Roach Wars a lot of times. So
yeah.
That may be where this game inevitably leads, but as you can see, ZeNEX.Life is really far ahead right now. 64 to 49 supply. Most of that is, of course, workers right now. It's going to be pretty tough for ViBe to catch up, but things like that, wow, that helps.
Yes, certainly. What, 6 Zerglings there for 1 baneling? So very, very nice.
Interestingly enough, a Spire going down for ViBe.
Yeah, so cool. He's certainly going to have all of the technology in place, but really doesn't have the economy to back that up quite yet. Now finally over 40 workers. And let's see here. We already have a number of roaches out. And once this next 5 hits, we're going to have 10 roaches in total, of course. He's going to have roach speed and +1 at the same time.
Yep, that's right. Now, Spire was something that it kind of comes and goes in ZVZ right now, in Korea at least. It's a little bit more popular. And I think on NA, it's kind of always been around. But I know when I was in Korea playing on the ladder all the time, it was always Spire and ZVZ. I just couldn't get away from it for some reason.
Oh, wow.
But so it can be good. Nice scout there by Life. Did he see the Spire?
Yes, he did. And immediately put up a Hydralisk down in response.
Okay, so he's going to try to defend that with Hydras. It'll match up nicely with his upgrades.
Sure. Definitely, actually, as a matter of fact. And wow, his economy looks so good right now. He has not gone to his 3rd base quite yet. ViBe did decide to hide one over at the 2 o'clock position. But these rocks are getting cleared up, and that's where our next entry is going to go for our red Zerg player.
Yeah, let's see. So, Hydra's on the way, indeed. Like you mentioned, to defend against some Mutalisks. It'll be pretty effective. The first 6 for ViBe being produced right now. Actually going for Baneling speed as well, so he's just going to go Mutaling, Baneling.
Oh, unfortunately, this hatchery is found out, and even though it's not going to go down because the Zerglings from ViBe will be able to move over there and defend in time, the knowledge of it being there is pretty big for Mr. Life.
Yeah, definitely. I think Life is in a great position. He just keeps getting farther and farther ahead in supply. As you can see, look at the production tab right now. ViBe just not able to produce any drones. He's having to defend so much.
Oh, no. This is a pretty good win for ViBe, though. These roaches are going to need a retreat, but a few, when I said few, I meant 1 because the rest of the mutas are going to pull off. A couple of roaches are going to go down, though.
Yep, and those roaches will be able to eventually get back and be protected by the Hydras. We might lose a couple more here. Not a huge loss for Life, but a bigger score for ViBe in that it helps him keep that base alive just that much longer.
Yeah, certainly. Picks off an Overlord here in the middle of the map as well. He's got to watch out because these Hydras get themselves a Muta kill. This base is only just now coming up for Life. And we finally start to see a little bit of action over here, economy-wise.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a while to saturate that. I mean, it's just too risky right now to move those drones across the map. So ViBe's going to just try to harass, kill some drones himself, get back into the game that way. Oh, man, those Hydras do damage so fast.
Yeah, playing with fire there. Yeah, and we have another little roach attack making its way out around the right-hand side. But, of course, these Zerglings are going to spot that. And the Roaches have to head back home, and I'm sure the Mutals will be sent over to reinforce.
Yep, that's right. It's one of those situations where, yeah, he might have been able to take it out with the Zerglings, but Mutas obviously won't be hit at all by the Roaches.
Right, and yet more damage being done as the Hydras start to move up, and another free Roach there for ViBe, so certainly very nice for him.
Yep, and Infester's on the way as well for life right now, too. That's going to be another thing that's going to be pretty good against Mutas. If he's quick, he can catch him while they're in the air.
Yeah, Infestors and Hydras going to make a pretty potent combo. And surprised no creep spread quite yet, despite the fact that there are a bunch of Hydras out there for life.
Yeah, when he wants to, he can set up that creep highway with Overlords if he chooses. And the other thing in ZVZ is of course, if you put out creep, that also benefits your opponent, too.
True,
because their units
but he knows his opponent
quicker.
is going through the air. I thought maybe he would favor with the Hydra list, but no,
It's
you're very right.
Well, it's one of those points of contention in ZVZ right now. Is how much do you actually spread your creep in ZVZ? And you'll find a lot of different answers from a lot of different players, too. So I don't know if there's any really right or wrong right now. It's just kind of what the player decides to do in a given situation.
And it looks like Life is content to macro for the moment. He is almost maxed, getting up there very quickly as he has more Infestors and Roaches just pouring in at the moment. Spore Crawlers up for defense as well.
Yep. ViBe focusing really, really hard on his Carapace upgrades for his Flyers this game. That's going to be something that's going to help him survive, of course, a little bit longer against the Hydras. But, when it comes down to it, when it's a big Roach Hydra army with upgrades against, like, Ling Muta, with upgrades, as long as the Roaches are in front to prevent the Banelings from hitting the Hydralisks, it should go pretty well for life. I don't know. It's going to be tough for ViBe to kind of get out of this one. I mean, he does have 4 bases. He is ahead on a base right now, but the upgrades are favoring his opponent, and that is going to be a pretty scary army to deal with.
Yeah, it really is, especially because he doesn't have a lot in the way of kind of a frontline engagement force. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of Banelings. Going to need a great engagement with the Banelings, though, because these Roaches are going to be able to soak up so much damage.
Yeah, we'll see if he can kind of swing in from behind. That's going to be kind of his only hope in engaging this. Oh, that does not help.
No, not at all.
Is he going to be able to do it? Here it comes. Nice flank from ViBe. Oh, but a fungal on the Banelings. Beautifully done by Life.
Wow.
And yeah, I think Life is going to come out way ahead in this one. He does lose his Hydras, but there are still some Infestors there, possibly. I don't know how much damage are these Roaches going to be able to do.
We'll find out here, but it's still a 50 supply advantage right now for Life, as he's reinforcing extremely quickly now with a bunch of Hydras behind as well. And yeah, the damage output from the Mutas is just not high enough to kill all these Roaches before they're able to inflict their damage.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So many drones are going to die here.
Yeah, really quite a bit has gone down now. An 80 supply advantage. Look at this, a Roach task force going over to the hidden base. Well, not the hidden base, but the far away fourth, I guess I'll call it.
What was supposed to be a hidden base.
Yes.
We'll put it that way.
Very correct.
Supposed to be hid. Nice reaction by ViBe to pull those drones away, but he's still going to need to worry about those Roaches at some point, and those Mutas are not going to be able to kill them quite fast enough.
Right, and yeah, quite a few Roaches, or I'm sorry, drones have actually fallen. Now let's take a look. 35 workers killed, going up at the moment. 4th base coming down for Life now as he just produces this amazingly strong army back at home.
Yeah, so I mean, ViBe's composition isn't terrible. I mean, his positioning was great on the last battle. It's just a matter of not having the economy to keep up with your opponent. And in a mirror matchup, it's really, really tough to catch up too,
Exactly. You're 100% correct. And it looks like this 4th base has gone down for ViBe. The 3rd actually taking quite a bit of damage as well. Will get defended, but look at this follow-up push now from Life. So many units just continuing to stream across the field.
Yeah, he's definitely been keeping up on his index. Oh, losing a few Roaches here from the Mutas, but, if he kind of, just pulls back, hangs up with the Hydras, and I don't know, it's going to be tough for ViBe to engage this.
Yeah, certainly those Hydras, as you mentioned, can just output so much damage right now, and the Roaches are taking care of everything on the ground. Looks like they will eventually be able to clean up most of the Hydras. It's going to take quite a bit more reinforcements.
Yeah, they were packed so tightly that the splash damage did a really good job, but from Poaches, is just nothing ViBe has as an answer for the Roaches. I mean, yeah, the Mutas kill them, but like we've been seeing, it's just not fast enough.
Right, exactly. And these little packs of Roaches are still continuing to deny bases, despite the fact that those are out there. Yeah, Roaches can't shoot up. Yes, they can attack Mutas, but the Mutas DPS just not what it takes to be able to knock out these Roaches.
Yep. What's the drone count at right now?
Let's take a look. It is 41 and falling to 70 at the moment.
Not as bad as I thought, but, ViBe down to basically just 2 hatcheries right now.
Right. Yeah. And most of his drones were actually cowering in fear. Which
I would be too.
Which is the opposite of mining, which is not what you want. So if you look it up, opposite of mining, cowering in fear. Here come the roaches now. They're going to clear up the rest of those drones. 79 workers have been killed for ZeNEX.Life. 24 workers now to 70, and quite a bit, not just economy, but tech structures will eventually get picked off. Yeah, and ZeNEX.Life can just keep filtering in units.
Yeah, you notice too that when he comes in, he focuses on queens and drones, because if you control the larva and the economy from the drones, he knows he's got 5 beaten. So, I mean, there's this huge mutable, right, of course, but between the infestors and the hydras, you know, if ViBe ever does decide to try to attack, it's going to be fairly easy, I think, for ZeNEX.Life to hold that off.
Definitely.
Yeah, just a really, really tough situation for ViBe. I don't know if he can come back from this one. I kind of doubted at this point to put him on.
Let's see here. Yeah, as already we have infestors and hydras and even a couple cute little banelings sitting there waiting to move out on the map and attack. 2 overlords are going to go down. That's a temporary inconvenience, as ZeNEX.Life will put up a few more here in a second. But here comes a big old death push.
It's a lot of hydras, a lot of infestors, and will ViBe engage? We'll see. He needs to be really, really careful around those infestors.
Yes, he does. Those were all very tightly grouped. Mutas there for a second. I'm just waiting for a fungal growth to hit all of those. All
Don't do it. Don't do it, ViBe.
Don't throw away your life like that. All right, there's the spread on the roaches, presenting a little more unified front. Hydra's starting to go to town on the Mutalisks.
A lot of Hydralisks.
Yes, it is, certainly.
A lot of Mutas, I mean.
We do have a bunch. Well, there's a bunch of both, actually.
A lot of everything. Whatever.
Yes.
All right, nice spreading to try to avoid that fungal growth, but I don't know if it's going to really be enough. Let's find out. Fungal on some of the Mutas at the bottom. Fungal on basically all the Mutas right now. GG.
GG.